Alright, so people have asked me why I don't like the Star Wars prequels. And I can go on and on about it, but instead of telling you why I don't like those movies so much, I'd rather tell you what I like about the original trilogy.
This will be a day long remembered.
Star Wars. A lot of people call it Star Wars A New Hope. Nope, I'm calling it what it was back in 1977 when it came out. This is Star Wars. The other two movies in the trilogy, they'll get their own video. Alright, so Star Wars is an iconic classic in the sci-fi genre and movies in general. And I think for good reason. This movie is really good. Yeah, it's been overhauled 100 times over, and I'll mainly talk about the movie as it was released in 1977. You know, the real version that you can find in like one DVD. And that's it. And I will compare it to the special edition just to talk about what I did and didn't like. This is a review after all. In any case, Star Wars starts out on the planet Tatooine. It's kind of a shitty little planet. It's like a desert, and no one wants to live on Tatooine. If you're on Tatooine, you were either born there or you're an old hermit who lives in the mountains. Those are the only two options. And Luke wants to fight in the rebellion, but he's trapped there because Uncle Owen's like, no, you're not going to become, you're not going to fight. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to become, like your father. And you don't really know what that means until he runs across Obi-Wan Kenobi, who used to be a Jedi, and he was like, oh yeah, your father was a Jedi Knight, just like me, and it was awesome, and times were good, and Darth Vader killed him. Alright, Darth Vader is one of the most menacing forces in the history of movies. You see this guy walk on screen for the first time, he comes through the fog, you're like, yep, that's the most evil person in the galaxy right there. And yeah, he is. Best character in the movie though, Han Solo. Why? Because he's a smuggler, for one. Every guy likes a smuggler. Those are the man's men of men. Han Solo is one of the best characters ever made, honestly. This dude takes no crap. Princess Leia dishes crap to him and he talks crap back. I find that absurdly entertaining, and he's a total mercenary. He's in it for the money. He even says, he's like, I don't care about your revolution. I'm not in it for you. I'm in it for the money. Han Solo will grow over time, yeah, and that's what I like about this. You can be a douchebag as long as you grow over time and you snap out of your douchiness. And this is where the special edition really started to screw it up. I can roll with some changes, but once they get to Mos Eisley to get off of Tatooine so they can, do their mission, the regular edition shows Mos Eisley as this little thing, it's like, oh yeah, it's I suppose it's a big spaceport in Tatooine, but Tatooine sucks, so Mos Eisley's not going to be that big. And George Lucas had to Lucasify it with a bunch of CGI crap that you just didn't need. The worst change of all though, moment of silence. Here it is. Han Solo owes Jabba the Hutt money. He's a smuggler. He had to dump some spice. Now he owes him cash. Greedo comes up. He's like, hey, going somewhere, Solo? Sit down. Let's talk. Greedo is going to kill Han Solo. Originally, Greedo's like, oh, I've been waiting for this a long time. That's pretty much a cue that I'm going to kill you. And Han Solo was like, yes, I'll bet you have. Blows him away right under the table. Now, Greedo shoots first. I don't get that. That is slapping the character and the fans in the face. George Lucas's reasoning behind it was like, well, I don't think you can redeem someone who would shoot first. Not counting the fact that one of the main aspects of Star Wars is all about redemption. Yeah, but you shoot a bounty hunter from under the table. Nope, that's the line right there. Dark side nothing. That is it. Didn't make any sense and I hated it. And another scene that he added in was actually a scene that was going to be in the movie that he didn't originally have in the movie. He filmed it though, was when Han Solo talks to Jabba the Hutt. This scene I prefer to be out of it. Why? Because for 2 movies, you hear about this Jabba the Hutt who's pursuing Han Solo and you never see him. So your imagination starts running. You're like, what is this Jabba the Hutt? Who is he? He must be horrible. If you see him in the original Star Wars, it's like, oh yeah, I know what Jabba the Hutt is. Okay. It's no big surprise when you see him in Return of the Jedi. So that's better left out. So after they get off of Tatooine, they try to go to Alderaan, but Alderaan, yeah, it's gone. Why? Because the Death Star can blow up planets. You think the Senate approved that? You think the Emperor was like, okay, we're gonna build something called the Death Star. And is that like Ronald Reagan's Star Wars project or something? No, we're in Star Wars, but this is going to be the Death Star in Star Wars. Trust me, it's gonna be awesome. In any case, they built this thing called the Death Star, which is funny because everyone gives Vader credit for that. Everyone's like, oh yeah, when Vader blew up Alderaan. It wasn't actually Vader. No one gives credit to Grand Moff Tarkin. This dude is not only bad, but he is someone who Vader takes orders from. When Vader's choking that one dude, he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Tarkin was like, Vader, release him. Vader's like, okay. Darth Vader's kind of like the Jew hunter in Inglourious Bastards. He's probably the worst case scenario that you're gonna run across, and he is absurdly bad. But there are people who outrank him. That being said, I'd probably rather deal with those people than Vader. Vader can choke you with his mind. That's not good. So while in the Death Star, they save the princess. That is a plot point that every NES game for the next 5 years after the system's release is going to follow. They get the princess, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's squaring off with Vader. Now this is awesome. This is monumental. This is awesome for a couple of reasons. At this point, all you know is that Darth Vader used to be a pupil of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He even says, when I left you, I was but the learner, now I am the master. He never had an apprentice. I don't care what those stupid cartoons say. And so they square off, and to this day, I don't know who could have stomped who. I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi could have beaten him. But Obi-Wan knows it's not about him, and he looks over to Luke, and he just gives it up, and Vader just slashes him down. Right there, Vader's a dick, Obi-Wan is awesome. I just like old dudes that are all wise like that, and they're like, no, I'm smarter than this. This is the best case scenario. Slice me down. Props to Obi-Wan. And Han for shooting first, because he does. So after that, you have the climax of the movie. They're on Yavin. They find out with the Death Star plans, they're like, oh, if you shoot a little rocket down the porthole, that thing will just entirely explode. Yeah, I know. It doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. And it makes for a simple and entertaining end fight to this movie. Because if you look at Phantom Menace, there were like 4 things going on. That's way too much, man. You don't need that. Just give me a straight up fight. The rebels were assaulting the Death Star. They needed to take it out. And so here we go. So Han Solo takes off before they even do the battle. Yeah, you know what? I gotta pay off some debts. You haven't seen Jabba the Hutt because he wasn't actually in this movie, and that's how it should be. But I've seen him and I gotta go pay him off. Good luck in your fight. And among all this, Darth Vader's like, yep, okay, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna take care of some business. So Darth Vader does. That's reason 151, he's not as high up on the Empire as you think he should be, because he actually did stuff. We all know how corporate types are. They don't do anything. They don't get in their TIE fighters and fight off rebels. They sip their tea and they're like, what? Did you take it out already? I have to cut payroll and fire people. And at the end, Vader's trying to lock on to Luke, and Luke's evading like this, and Vader's like, the Force is strong with this one. We've taken out all the fat pilots and the pilots with the porn star mustaches, but this guy, he's got the Force. And right when he locks on, you see the TIE fighter next to him just explode. You don't know why, it just happens. Han Solo comes back to save the day. This is why Han Solo's a badass. He's like, yeah, I'm all about the money, and I care, but I won't let you know I care. Besides, I got a really cool medal at the end, but Chewie doesn't, because that's just the way the world works. In the end, the reason Star Wars works is because it's all about the characters, and it doesn't shove Darth Vader down your throat. You know a little bit about Vader. You know he used to be Obi-Wan's apprentice, but he's not like he's like, Christ gone bad who should have brought balance to the Force or some weird shit. They're all part of a bigger story. In the end, I'm gonna give Star Wars Awesometacular, so I'm just saying Star Wars is Awesometacular. Star Wars establishes the characters perfectly for a trilogy. It sets it all up. The next movie straight up takes it to a whole other level. But that's another video for another time. And I'm saying this right now. I'm talking about the 1977 original version. George Lucas has improved the video and audio quality of Star Wars in the special editions, so I can give him that. But he made too many other alterations I can't roll with. So if you watch the original trilogy, you're sacrificing video quality for quality of content. I will take quality of content any day of the week. I actually give George Lucas credit for creating Star Wars. I mean, it was hard to do. There were 151 problems, but it added to the quality of it. You can tell he was like, no, I put love into this. This was actually back when George Lucas said something like, special effects are a means to tell a story, but it's not the story. Special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing. He said something like that. That's real. The dude actually believed that at one point. Now everything just sucks. He's like, if I can CGI something, I'll do it. Which is reason 151, I believe a T-1000 came back through time, terminated him, has been impersonating him ever since. If he would release the original Star Wars trilogy on Blu-ray, unaltered, but really good quality, dude, that'd be perfect. Merry Christmas to the world. So your favorite Star Wars movie, what is it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.